Welcome to another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, breaking down the top stories from Districts 5 and 6 here in East Idaho, the great state of Idaho. My name is Joel Richardson. My co-host is here now with me, Sean Kane. He's always part of the group, sometimes never part of the group chat. He was almost not part of tonight's group chat because I forgot to send him the link to the show. What's up, Sean?
I get it. I get what's going on here. You guys want to, get me out, but East Idaho wants me.
We have to have you, Sean, especially because I think your grid picks. How'd you do this week on your picks challenge? Let's get right into it.
I don't know. I haven't went back and looked, but I don't think I did it very well because I saw it and then I just knee-jerk reaction to all of them just on my phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so yeah. I'll do better. It's not about winning the first one, but there's some picks I should have made differently, but we'll talk about it later.
Let's talk about it. Hey, Sean, you're in 30th place, man. I'm in 39th place, so your knee jerk beat me. You have what? Yeah, you had 21 correct picks, and I had 20 correct picks. So yeah, there's a bunch of people tied for 20 and 21. So yeah, as the season goes on, it'll all reveal itself. We'll all kind of get our distance. Top was Ryan Skaggs. He's number one. For better, for worse for you, Mr. Sean Kane, East Idaho. Man. Ryan Skaggs is in first place. Ryan Skaggs, man, if you're listening, congrats on your week one domination.
Don't send him the money. Don't send him the money.
He says, yeah. So he got 31 tie-breaking points. He got 26 picks correct out of 35. So yeah, he just missed 9, and the rest of us missed just a few more, Sean. Let's talk about some of these games, though. Big top stories coming out of this weekend. Let's start with Rigby, Sean. Rigby. And we're not just talking about Rigby football. We're also going to talk Rigby volleyball. What a dominating weekend they had with football, which game I was at, beating CDA handily 38-7. Jake Flowers 4 touchdowns. And then volleyball goes the Peg Peterson Tournament Invitational here in Pocatello, and they win the gold bracket after Friday play. Everyone's ranked gold, silver, bronze, and they were the first team in the rankings, so they were put in gold bracket with a number of other really good teams. Rigby went on to defeat Sugar on Saturday. Then they lose to Snake River. Then they go to the losers bracket, defeat Shelley, Pokey, Snake River. They avenged their loss, and then they beat Idaho Falls, who was the number 2 team in that gold bracket, twice to win the Peg Peterson tournament.
Yeah, it was, it's a great run. I mean, and I guess when I look at this too, I think, man, Snake River is competing with the big dogs. They beat Rigby, but then had to play them again, and they play a shortened format. But yeah, a good job. I mean, the gold was all, it's the top teams in this huge tournament, and it's all East Idaho. It's Rigby, Idaho Falls, Snake, Pokey, right, was in there.
Right.
Shelley, Highland also. Were all the teams that went into this gold bracket, and you had teams from like Middleton, Centennial, Eagle were there as well. So it was really nice to see the Rigby Trojans come in and pick up a win in the Peg Peterson.
Yeah, and then got to talk to Coach Gonzalez, Hermano Gonzalez, before that Rigby, going back to football, that Rigby CDA game, and he said, I asked any weaknesses in this new team, right? New season, and he said, I'm not going to call it a weakness, but a question mark, that offensive line. They lost 6 out of 7 starters, so they had 1 starter returning, something like that. And I'll tell you, Sean, they're live doing the broadcast, and Rigby's offensive line was stout. They got a few miscues. There was a few iffy snaps. They let a few too many come through early on in the game. But as the game wore on, that Rigby offensive line got a great push. Of course, Amani Morel doing work in the backfield with a couple of other really good running backs for this Rigby team. That offensive line was just fine, Sean Kane.
Yeah, I mean, that was the question mark, right? I think it was even talked about on the Gem State game day, that I was on. How does Rigby replace the trenches? Well, they did more in replace. They definitely did well. I mean, and Joel, you were at that game, so I mean, you saw it live. I watched it a little bit online, and yeah, I mean, a team to come back really looking like they haven't even skipped a beat. And
right?
I mean, a lot of people are talking about some other teams like in the SIC, like a Rocky Mountain or even a Timberline, which I think is a sneaky good team on paper if you look at what they've got. But yeah, I don't know if you're if you're a 6A football team, man. Good luck.
Yeah, and if you're 6A, you're watching that game thinking, okay, like at the beginning of the game, all right, let's maybe see a good battle. Maybe Rigby's lost a step. Let's see CDA and Rigby have a close one. Then maybe we can learn something from here. I think the only thing they learned is it might be another long season in 6A football. So Sean, the other top story, we got really 3 top stories: Rigby, football, volleyball, fantastic weekend. And then let's talk really quick: North Fremont, South Fremont. Sean, I'm going to admit, and Coach Jason Wright, I'm a good friend of his mom and dad, and I saw them on Sunday, and I was like, I was wrong. I picked South Fremont, and I totally sorely missed, and so did Sean Kane. So here on the East Idaho Prepcast, we own our mistakes. What a dominating win by North Fremont, and to beat a 4A team in South Fremont.
Yeah, I mean, I think I talked a little bit about, I felt like South Fremont was going to kind of, show their claws, but yeah, North Fremont, sorry. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
It's a new coach, right? The coach left. It's a new coach. All those players, wasn't Rusty Hatch on North Fremont? The great names.
Yeah, he's one of them. Yep.
Yep. And they lost, some of the big producers of that team, but hey, they got it done Friday, that 40-6 win. Yeah, that was not one that I picked. I mean, I would have, if North Fremont won and it was close, I would have been okay, but
yeah,
got kind of a shellacking I did not see coming. But
yeah,
I mean, we don't get paid to know, right?
No, we don't. And we should have known, though, when North Fremont was returning 10 plus seniors. But beyond that, you got your first year head coach who has plenty of experience. He was an assistant at North Fremont under Coach Keith Director, and then he was at Highland with his crew, assistant coaching, some really good Highland teams. So in that way, he might be a first-year head coach, but he's got plenty of experience, and the dude's a baller, solid coach. And then, their sophomore QB, they started. He started a few games last year, right, or more than a few games, replacing, I think it was a senior or junior quarterback. And so there were reasons to wonder, who is this North Fremont team? Are they still kind of a year away? But when you got 10 plus seniors who've been in the program, even under a different head coach, you played for that assistant coach. He's a major part of that coaching staff. With that, yeah, they were more poised than we expected to win that game. So congrats to North Fremont. Congrats to Coach Wright for his first win as a head coach. And frankly, I love to see the 3A guys take down the 4A. That's a great sight and a big rivalry game at that. So congrats North Fremont Huskies for defeating the South Fremont Cougars. Good stuff there. Finally, Sean, the other top story of the day comes out of your school, Century, winning their first game in 17. Well, winning for the first time in 17 games. Give us a little rundown for the end of that game, and then we got a clip to show, Sean.
Yeah, it was a game I wasn't planning on going to, and some things changed, and I ended up getting to go. And Century was up, and then Nampa was making a comeback. Century missed an extra point and was down like 20-21, and I'm like, oh man. And then unfortunately I had to go, but Century, Ryan Fleshman, the head coach, second stint. A lot of coaches there have been there on it, either this stint or before, but a lot of the same people have stayed and really have done a phenomenal job to get to a team where they could win. Like, there was a lot of games they were not winnable. This is a winnable game, and maybe it could be the title of our show. a youth, right? It's youth. Rigby, I'm guessing Rigby's offensive line wasn't all like freshmen, but
it was the seniors, just not starters last year.
But youth and how youth is kind of leading the way, and that was kind of the way for Century. And me and Joel got to see some of this youth get some action for Century last year, and it's a team kind of led by juniors right now, and just like a real credit, I think, to the staff and the people that have stuck around, because it's a dry spell for the team, and it's hard for the kids to stay motivated, and they've really pushed hard, and it was really exciting for everyone involved. From the fans to the parents, the cheerleaders, to just everyone who's a part of it. Because football games are a big deal at schools. Everyone shows up. It's a beautiful setting out at Century. But yeah, just awesome job. And not only was it a win, it was an overtime going for 2 win. So we do have the clip of that, and you have Justice Magnum, who's just an incredible athlete. You've seen him do a little bit of football last year. You've seen him do a little bit of basketball, but he kind of took the team on his shoulders. There's a couple big drives, right, where he's the quarterback and he just kind of has to improvise. He had an 80-yard run. He had some different things, and in this clip, you're going to see him. I'm not 100% sure what the play call was, but I think he sees the safety cheating in, and he jukes him out and goes for 2, and it's game over. And you got to love that call. I love that call going for 2. You missed an extra point earlier, and you go, you know what? We're going to end the game. And I love that. I think that's kind of the coolest thing about overtime in high school and college is you can be like, all right, we're win or lose, we're going for it.
So they had tied the game. Like you said, John, previously, they had missed the extra point. This is an overtime. So instead of going for the extra point, they go for 2 to win it, correct?
Yes.
All right. So here's that play. In overtime, they're going for 2, and Justice Mangum is the quarterback. All right. Here we go. Oh, it's flipped.
Oh, no.
I had fixed that earlier, Sean. Let me see if I can fix that. Hold on.
Live updating.
Right. Hold on. I'm gonna get us a good one here. There we go.
Yep, just pops out to the left side there, makes the guy miss. 2 points, big time.
Okay, Sean, we got to go backwards one more time because I wasn't sure if this was the right one. So Justice Mangum takes the snap, and like you said, the safety comes in, and go ahead.
Yeah, he comes in, he jukes him out, gets to the outside, 2-point conversion's good, and they fake the run up the middle, right? And that Nampa defense kind of honed in on that up the middle run. They sold it well, and the athlete Justice took care of business, and you can see at the end of it, they're super excited, and it's the first game of the season, but none of those kids have experienced a win in football. None of them at the high school level. So congrats to everyone there. And we're back. And we got Joel. There we go.
There we go. I don't know why that was so difficult. I didn't realize pulling a video would pull both of us.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Well, we're here on the East Side of Prepcast. We want to show you videos, clips, but sometimes we can't really do the tech. And we're really big there. Okay, Sean, that's a great clip. I love how the celebration is on afterwards. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. The credit goes to these fans, to the team, to the coaches for sticking with it. And we went to a couple of Century games last year, and Century was owing $1 million, right? Carrying over the span of 2 seasons. The fact that everyone has stuck with it is a testament to the culture that Fleischman and company have established there, and the Century staff has established there at that high school. Because, like you said, football is a big deal across Idaho, and when you're constantly losing, it's tough. But week in, week out, fans are showing up to Century, and they finally, them and the players, got the win. Big time for Century, first time in 17 games.
Yeah, it was just incredible. It was good. I mean, the games are always packed, and I have to give credit to Nampa. Nampa brought a full complement of fans. The whole other side of the bleachers was full. It was For the first game of the season, it was lively. There was a lot going on. It was full. The new concession stands open there. They do potatoes, like you get a baked potato. So
nice.
It was a lot going on, and it was just a good essence of the football season. And just congrats to those guys. And you also had Tito Villano running the ball a lot and heavily for the Diamondbacks. These juniors we talked about, and they have some good seniors in there. And the defense looked good too under Bruce Givens, and so just some good things going. So it's good to see a program going in the right direction, because sometimes that direction can seem very far away. But I think to see that's good, and I think they're going to have a chance to win some games when you have a kind of crafty, squirrely little quarterback back there that can make guys miss. We saw it last year with Hunter May for Pocatello. Very similar, able to make things happen out of nothing. And when you can do that, it's super hard for defenses.
I love that Justice Mangum and Tito Villano are doing work, because, again, we saw them do some really good things last season as they were just sophomores. So congrats again to Century for being our top story this week, winning their first time in 17 games. Mostly juniors, everyone stuck with it, and really proud of that accomplishment. All right, Sean, let's give us a little Canes Coach's Corner, and we'll get into the meat of our show, if you will, talking a little soccer. But take it away with a little Coach's Corner, brought to you by Sean Kane himself. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So I didn't tell Joel I was going to do this, but I've been kind of thinking like, what can I bring to the table to this? Well, I guess since I've coached for over 20 years now, it's probably time I bring a little something more to the table. So I was just thinking about little coaching things. And this week I really thought about how you just kind of you got to enjoy the time that you have, right? For most high school students, it's just 4 years. Just really enjoy it. Like, go out, go to a game, go watch a game, play a sport, but really enjoy that time, because it goes by so fast. It's crazy to think where we are now, and just me and you doing the show, and where people are go. But take that time, enjoy high school sports. Don't yell at the refs. Don't get mad at things that aren't important. But keep the fire, the enthusiasm, and support the student athletes. But be very conscientious and value that time that you have to either get to watch an athlete, be an athlete, and contribute to something that's bigger than you.
Love it, Sean. Thank you. And, we had a little bit of a taste of that when we talked to Coach Brennan Mossold, or maybe this was kind of, you were germinating on this, but he gave us a perspective we hadn't thought of when we kind of criticized the 5A playoff format, right? And when you mentioned that you wanted to talk a little bit about that, I thought, I wonder, Mossholder told us, like, football only has 8 games. Why not give these kids a few more opportunities to play a few more games, even if they likely are going to lose, even if they're coming into the playoffs, with 3 or 4 wins. Give them an opportunity to get more reps and play, because you have 4 years of high school and it's over. You and I will keep doing this show, but the kids, it's over. It's done after 4 years. So when you mentioned that, I thought, Coach Mossholder and Sean, they're on the right track there. Take advantage of the time you have and enjoy it, because it'll be over before you know it. Good stuff, Sean. Let's get into the meat of our show now. This show is brought to you by Ideal, a state-sponsored tax-advantaged savings plan that helps families pay for the cost of college. With the rising cost of college, developing a savings plan is the first and most important step in helping families finance a college education. An Ideal 529 account can be used towards higher education, a trade school apprenticeship, or even student loan repayments. For more information, go to idsavings.org. Sean, I had a great opportunity on Friday to talk to head coach Brett Reed, the coach of the American Falls girls soccer team. And that got me thinking, let's talk some soccer on this show today. We had some really good soccer last year, some really great matchups between Marsh Valley and American Falls. We'll talk about them at the end of the show, because what we're going to do, we're going to talk soccer, and at the end of the show, we're going to show you the interview that I was able to do with Coach Brett Reed, and then we'll close the show there. So before we get into American Falls, let's talk about the season with soccer. Last year, you had that insanely good Sugar Salem girls team. do you expect to have that same team come out and do damage like they did last year, Sean?
I mean, yeah, it's Sugar Salem. No, I mean,
next question.
I think, when you have that small conference, again, things can happen, but I would imagine we're going to have a strong Sugar team. When I think about soccer and you think about the prevalent people at the top, I don't see a whole lot of that maybe changing, but I do see some room for things to go a different direction, maybe in some games or maybe at districts. But right now, early in the season, I think you're kind of leaning on the people that were good last year are probably going to be good again this year. Who are those other teams that are going to sneak in or get an opportunity? Those are what I'm looking forward to seeing throughout the season. What's going to be a team that's going to pop out that wasn't on our radar?
Yeah, well, let's, Highland Madison at the 6A. Let's start top and go down really quick. Yeah. And this is girls soccer. Highland and Madison both made state, Sean, but they went 0-2 at state. Do we think they can do a little bit better this year, or will Rigby kind of sneak in there? Rigby got their first win on Saturday or Friday afternoon. Rigby girls soccer team got their first win. So can they take on Highland and Madison and maybe make a deeper run at state?
I think at the 6A level, it's always going to be. You just got some behemoths out of Boise in girls soccer, and these girls go to national things and things like that. But does that mean a Southeast Idaho team can't make some noise? Probably not. It's always kind of have this Madison Rigby Highland thing. Highland's pretty good. They did lose some players. It'll be interesting to see what pans out. If a team. If an East Idaho team can somehow get that right ranking and get a good spot in that draw, then maybe something will happen. But it's hard, right? There's only so many teams that are going to make it from East Idaho, and you're going to always have a really strong Boise showing.
Yeah, well, and to your point, Madison's already 1-1, Highland's 0-2, Rigby's 1-1, and they're all playing. They're obviously this is non-conference. Rigby played Centennial, then they played CUNA. They lost to CUNA 0-1. So that's just a small little example of here in East Idaho, 6A soccer is usually beat down, dominated by the Boise schools. And I had a chance to go to an Idaho State girls soccer game last week, and a number of the Boise players are from the Boise, from the Treasure Valley, and a lot of them played for those high schools, right? That win the state tournament, that beat the East Idaho teams. Let's go down then to 5A. Kentucky, are they going to repeat as champs? They've already lost the game so far this season. Granted, a tough opponent, but Kentucky repeat as champs with some of the seniors that they've lost?
I mean, they did have some good youth. The Thunder did. They're 0-2, but they lost to Timberline and Mountain View, right? So again, that I talked about,
right?
It's do you have that firepower to beat a Sandpoint or something, right? BK moved up in soccer. They play at that higher level now. BK was always that team lurking there, but yeah, it's a team that's going to be competitive, and we're not too far removed from Century and Preston being top dogs in soccer too. So it's a conference that can heat up and it can also take some dynamic shifts to where one team's kind of dominant. So if you get out of the conference, do you have a chance? Absolutely. I think the Thunder will be just fine.
Yeah, and then Hillcrest, they went to the state tournament last year along with Pokey. They lost to Twin Falls in the consolation bracket and the consolation championship, So Hillcrest, I think they could make a run. They had some youth last year as well. They have some decent seniors, if not good seniors. So I think I watch for Hillcrest to make a run to state and then do something at state as well. Any other teams that interest you from the girls' side, Sean?
I think you're going to hit on the teams that I'm kind of interested in the interview. American Falls,
right?
American Falls, Marsh Valley, always kind of a together thing, are going to be some teams to look out for in East Idaho. And Yeah, that District 6 where you talk about Hillcrest, I think Hillcrest will be solid. They return some outstanding players, Brindley Nelson, who's also an outstanding tennis player, and I think they're going to be a team to look at in Skyline. I don't know, District 6. There's always something going on.
I know.
There's
It's insane, right?
It's always going on there. But the big picture is right. Pocatello had enough to win it last year. Will a team emerge with enough firepower to claim it out at East Idaho? Let's hope so.
All right.
Let's hope so. I think that we definitely have some potential.
Well, Sugar Salem's already 2-0. Teton's 1-1, and Marsh Valley is actually 1-0, and Snake River is 1-0 as well, with a decent goal differential so far. When I say goal differential, I mean not true goal differential, but your average scores and the average scores against are pretty good for Marsh and Snake River. So we'll see what American Falls can do this year. But before we get into that, let's do a little boys soccer really quick. Got to give boys some love. Will any from East Idaho, Sean, and this is the big question for boys soccer. They go out to Treasure Valley, they go out to these tournaments, and Treasure Valley usually takes care of business. Here's the breakdown. Thunder Ridge, they had a promising season and a decent opportunity. They lost in the Consolation Championship. So they got to the championship, but on the wrong side, right? They lost in that. Blackfoot got third place in their tournament. Century, they lost in the Consolation Championship. Idaho Falls got fourth place, and Teton boys, again, this is boys soccer, got third place. Any of those teams think can level up this season, not only get to state, but level up at state? And if not these teams, any other teams that intrigue you this year from boys soccer side?
Yeah, I mean, Thunder Ridge's boys is always that team that they get the seed. They're so close, right? They're close. They've already played 2 games against SIC opponents, Eagle and Mountain View. They beat Eagle, lost to Mountain View. What's that tell us? I don't know. I mean, you got to start talking to like Boise and different teams like that are predominantly there. I think Thunder Ridge is a team to look at. Rigby is also usually close behind their heels. Highland 1-1. They're going to have some stuff to say about that as well. Rigby right now, the best in the conference, 2-0 against a couple Boise teams that aren't predominantly powerhouses. So yeah, I mean, and I've also heard that Madison soccer team could throw something in a wrench. So when you look at 6A the High Country Conference, I think there's a lot more parity maybe. So they can, you get out of that. Maybe it's a little, it used to be the top was the top, low was the low. Now it's a little more, I think there's a little more parity, which makes everyone better and can kind of compete. In 5A, man, we've always got really good teams, right? You've always got a Blackfoot, Skyline sneaky good too, Idaho Falls, in Southeast Conference, Century has done a good job. They did, however, just lose to Burley, which I talked to Coach Rumiani and said Burley's going to be good this year. Don't count them out in that division with Wood River that's been really good, and they only lost to Burley 0-1. So that will be interesting to watch. And the Thunder beat Hillcrest 2-0. So I think there's going to be teams. I think it's certainly too early to make any bold predictions.
For sure. Yeah.
But, it seems like we've had teams that have played really good at certain points, but at state, I don't think we've seen an East team kind of go where they need to go when they get to the state bracket. So what's it going to take during the season to be like, we're ready to go to state and win it? But those are teams to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. And talking to head coach Reed, American Falls girls soccer coach, he said you want to peak at the right time, and you're okay losing some games early on for sure, but if you lose too late, it's not time to learn lessons. It's a little bit too late to learn those lessons, right? And that as a tennis coach, and so you want to get some statement wins and get some confidence, so then when you go into that district and then state tournament, hey, we can beat these guys, whether Treasure Valley North or down in the Magic Valley with Burley. So that's boys soccer. We got girls soccer, boys soccer. Any other teams that we haven't talked about for both boys and girls that intrigue you?
No, I think you kind of touched on it a little bit. You've always got in boys, you've got Sugar and Teton and South Fremont, and now Firth's in their conference, so that's a little different wrinkle. So it's not just those three teams. So that's interesting to see how that will pan out. I think you got to lean a little bit towards Sugar at this point, but a little something different.
And Sean, if you can hold off for like 2 minutes, tell the people that one joke. I want to see if with four teams in that conference, if that allows their conference. I can't. Mountain Rivers Conference. One more spot in. Yeah, hopefully it's a playing game because I am so tired of the Sugar, Teton, South Fremont girls soccer not having an opportunity to send two teams, if not 1.5, send someone to a play-in game.
Yeah, definitely. And Firth's off to 1-0 start. 2-0 win over Snake River. Sugar they beat Preston 4-2. You've got South Fremont. They tied to Marsh Valley. So that's interesting to keep an eye on. Teton with they have a tie to Sun Valley Community School, which is always, it's been a top dog at that level until Sugar kind of came in and beat them.
Yeah. So I looked it up, Sean. Thanks for delaying. You did a great job. Wonderful information as always. They still only get one slot, man.
Okay.
So even with 4 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams, doesn't matter for the Mountain Rivers Conference. They only get one team into one team to state. Well, Sean, we've teased it enough already. We're going to cut here and we're going to send to the interview that I was able to do with head coach Brett Reed of the American Falls girls soccer team. They had a fantastic season last year. They came up shorter than they wanted to, but really had a solid season. I had a good chance to talk with him last week and talk about last year, this year, what they're looking forward to, what their goals are, some team culture, and especially, Sean, I got him to answer the question about the turf. So we're going to cut here, go to the interview, and then we'll close the show. That's Sean Kane. I'm Joel Richardson. Be excellent to each other. Enjoy the interview coming up right now. We'll close. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Season got here a lot faster than I thought it would.
Right.
So, summer went by quick.
Right on. Work going well for you?
Yeah. Harvest is in full swing, just going as fast as we can go, and we'll be picking up beats and spuds here pretty soon. So soccer's just always right in the thick of it, and so there's nothing that I like more than soccer and harvest at the same time.
I was gonna say, you're a great soccer coach, great farmer. That could become a combustion issue, but sounds like you weather that storm no problem and really lean into that chaos, if you will.
Yeah, it's organized chaos, that's for sure.
Yeah, right on. Well, Coach, you're in your 6th year as head coach for the American Falls girls soccer team, 7th year overall. Last year you guys had some call it a magical season. I know the magic has nothing to do with it, right? But you guys really had a great season. 7-1 in conference, 19-4 overall. SEIC league title, that's Southeast Idaho Conference League title. 4th place at state. What do you attest to that? That fantastic season.
Mental toughness. The girls that was on were just, they were locked in. I'm learning all this new stuff too on the whole, what the slang and the terminology, but they were locked in, and I'll just give it to them. I think being able to be through those 6 years, 7 years, because like I said before, coaching them for a long time, and just being able to know where somebody's at, know where that pass is going, and the shots that they were taking all the time. It's just being able to be with them for that long, and for them, they wanted it, and they just said at the beginning of the season, "This is what we want to do. Let's do it." And I was like, "Hey, then I'll do my best to try to get you there. Let's go."
Right on. Are they saying the same thing for this season? If you win the title again, the league title that is, that would be 3 and 4 years. Right now it's 2 and 3 years. What are the goals for this season?
Same,
Nice.
same, and bring home some more hardware. That's going and placing fourth and ending on a loss and not bringing home anything. And I just don't get like how fifth place can bring home something, but fourth place is just like,
Right. Yeah. That consolation
yeah,
prize, right?
exactly. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, it's like going to 4-H and not selling your steer, and then just kind of like, well, we got to butcher it now anyway, so
Yeah.
we'll go
Right.
that way, So it's kind of a deep defeat on that, but at the same time, you place, you go, and with all the playing games, and then going to state for how many years we've gotten, and looking at the gap that we had. We do have a younger team this year, but I mean, we're optimistic, and the girls that have moved up and are now seniors, they've been doing the same thing, coaching them for some of them 7, 8 years plus. So they want it, and they're going to be mentally tough as well. And so, yeah, that's our goal. And if we don't get there, the girls tried hard, and they did their best, and I know they did. So we're going to leave it all on the field.
So let's talk about some of those returnees. Coach, you still have Aliana Cruces, right? The 100-plus goal scorer. I'm assuming Jazzy, is it Fonseca?
Yep.
Fonseca.
Fonseca.
Okay, good. Yeah, Fonseca, and then Courtney Hunt, Stephanie Rosales. Is she going to be your starting goalkeeper this year as a senior?
Yep,
okay, so
starter.
you talk about a young team, but I don't know. I'm counting 4, maybe 5 returners that are going to provide some significant, minutes or goal scoring experience for you guys.
Yeah, we're going to have a deadly duo up top. We've got Jazzy, we've got Ollie. Another one that we really need to look at too is Adley Selga. She's coming in helping us out on that midfield. And she's a dangerous combination to play defense or up top. And the nice thing about, I think, coaching for as long as we have with these girls is being able to move them where I need them and play them, and just teach them that total football that I really like to play. So if I need something, I need just a little bit more of this or that, I can take that player and just tweak that just a little bit. And so that's really, really made us malleable in each situation that we have. So, but yeah, good returnees, and I'm excited about that too. So
yeah. When you guys play at home, are you guys turf or grass? What do you guys got going on these days? You're grass. Okay.
We're grass.
Do you prefer grass over turf, Coach?
Oof. We do.
That's the age-old question, isn't it?
It's a lethal question. The girls, they can play on turf really, really well. And some of the things that we end up doing is a couple years ago, we didn't have the ability to play on our field because it was either too dark or something, because we play early in the morning sometimes, just due to my work schedule and some of the other girls. And so we weren't able to do that. I said, well, let's just go play on the parking lot, and because they had lights on it. And so, yeah, we just played out in the parking lot, small-sided games. And so over the years, that's been something that's the girls look forward to. We've implemented a lot of indoor soccer into our program over the years. And so they really like that fast, quick pace, the passes coming in. So when we play on turf, man, we can play really, really well. So it really gives us that diversity and that, like I said, malleability between each one of the different situations that we come into.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but that conversation is very interesting because most of the time it's when you transfer to the turf when teams have problems because the touch isn't there. They're used to playing in grass, which slows the ball down. And yeah, we won't get into that, but I love that your team is playing outside, indoor soccer in the parking lot, because it just improves your touch, right? If you can control that ball when it's coming in much faster than when on grass or maybe even turf, you're going to be doing good things when you are playing on that grass and turf, right?
Absolutely. And that was the whole point. And the other thing too is when you get younger girls coming in, it just gets them up to speed so much faster. So when we do play on the grass, when we do practice grass or play it anywhere else, it slows it down for them, and it allows them to actually process that a little bit better. So when we throw them in there, have them drink from that fire hose on an indoor situation or a parking lot ball, they're just like, holy cow, this is crazy. But when we get back onto the grass on Mondays or Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever it is that we're not playing indoor or on the parking lot, yeah, it really slows it down for them, and they're able to really process that and use that and just get back up to speed that much faster.
You play at home versus Sugar, at home versus Marsh Valley. But tell me about playing Sugar in Marsh Valley in your second and third game at home to start the season.
So both teams always tough to play. Those are mental games too, not just physical games.
Right.
And so, yeah, you got to be tough, especially when you're going to play Marsh like 6 times during the season,
Totally.
and you're just like, how is this going to go? And being those games at the beginning are good in a way. In my opinion, it's kind of setting the pace, and setting the mindset. But especially when you're playing Marsh and that's a district game right up front. That's
so it is. I wasn't sure it was a non-conference or it is district.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Okay.
a conference game, but
Right.
that's in my mind, it really sets that like, okay, where are we going to be at coming here in the next few weeks and going that way. So yeah, it really sets that. Outside of that conference, we're just there to hang.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say like I put a lot into that, but I do. But at the same token, I'm going to focus on my district and really go hard in those games and try the best that I can do. But always knowing that Marsh is that one team that we got to try to step up and play against. And yeah, never take for granted any of the teams that we do play. Sometimes Malad's a dark horse. Snake
Right.
River's always in competition. So
Right.
I feel like our district is probably one of the most competitive ones. For sure. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So let's change the channel a little bit. Let's put you on the hot seat, Coach. What East Idaho team? Speaking of other conference, I know you're focused on your district and winning that district title. But what East Idaho teams are you in your expertise and what you're seeing, what you're hearing around East Idaho? Which ones, either in this classification or others, are you intrigued by? We got obviously Sugar Salem, Teton, Snake River, Malad in your conference, but also maybe like Pocatello, maybe Century, Hillcrest, Highland. Are you hearing any buzz around any of those teams?
I'm always going to give it to Pocatello a little bit. I think that they just kind of. I mean, there was a lot of girls that have been able to see along the way and over the years, and even get some coaching in with them a little bit outside of high school, and see them in club ball and stuff like that. So with them losing some of the seniors that they did, I still think they're going to have a pretty good edge. But yeah, Highland's always going to be competitive. I mean, those bigger schools are always going to have such a pool to pull from. So yeah, I think Century too. Like I saw a lot of what they did last year. I don't think we should always count them out. I know they have been in the past, but yeah. And then if I'm going back the other way, I would say that even Kimberly too is always going to be competitive, and we do play them this year, so that's in the schedule. So I'm excited about that. I always like to play some more of those bigger schools too to see what we got. A lot of times I feel like we're isolated here in American Falls. There's not a lot to pull from. So it's we get what we get, but we got some amazing athletes, and so it's gonna be good. But yeah, I think, man, such a competitive side on this side. So
Definitely.
yeah, Thunder Ridge, I've heard good things about them. I've dealt with some of them on camps and some of those girls and seeing them. So it's we got some amazing athletes on this side of the state.
Yeah, we do, and we talk a lot about the Treasure Valley and their soccer, and especially in 6A boys, it was all Treasure Valley. And I think it was was it 6A 6A? Yeah, it was mostly Treasure Valley schools.
Yep.
But after that, it's a lot of East Idaho, and you mentioned you're kind of isolated in American Falls, though it does give you the opportunity because you're a little bit further west than we are here in Pocatello. You can get to a Kimberly, a Buell, Filer, which you have this year, right?
Yes.
On your schedule, maybe a little bit easier than, those of us who are just 20, 30 minutes just east of you. So yeah, you are isolated, but it does give you guys those opportunities to play the Kimberly, Buells, and Filers.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've played Burley and stuff in the past a couple years too, when I first was on here. So I like to just kind of get some more of that. Just mix it up a little bit, when you end up playing all the same teams, and it can be, again, be a mental game, especially when you get some of these bigger schools like Teton or Sugar, or even Marsh Valley's got a pretty good pool to pull from.
They do. Right.
And so you get those opportunities to go to different schools, see how they play, just what the setup is or how that coach is. So that's what I always try to do too, is just tell my AD, hey, I want some of these schools. I don't want to play all these ones. Let's see what else. If they're, even if we get stomped, hey, I can learn something, we can learn something. So
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. And those opportunities that keeps the girls humble when you're, on an 11 game or so winning streak, right?
Amen. That's probably the hardest thing to do is, so my favorite team ever since childhood has been Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp coached for so long there. And that was his biggest thing was like, hey, we got to keep the boys humble. And that's exactly what it is. You start winning a lot, and when's that crash going to come? And can I coach that from the bottom back up and keep them going? So that's always the hardest thing for me as a coach is to handle that. But I want it to come quicker than later.
Sure.
So I can start building sooner. So
yeah, especially in soccer, we always, a lot of sports, but soccer, hockey are sports where you want to peak at the right time, baseball as well. But
exactly.
You want to be peaking at the right time and not getting down, not getting humbled late in the season.
Exactly.
Before we close, any shout outs you want to give, players, coaches, family, friends?
Man, there's a lot. I will have to say, I got an amazing group of girls. Just some that previously that we mentioned too. Ureli Carrillo's another junior that's coming up. That'll be senior next year. And I'm really looking forward to how she's doing. Mackenzie Mendez, she's coming in as a freshman. She was our only freshman last year, so our crop really grew this year. So she's got really good ability coming this time. And then there's a new girl that has never come out before, but athletic is all get out. So I'm super excited about that.
Perfect. Nice.
My wife that's always supporting me and is my assistant coach, and Reggie Jackson as well as assistant coach. And then, all the other coaches that we coach against, the amount of time that everybody puts into their teams is bar none one of the least rewarding, but most rewarding at the same time. So
totally,
shout out to all of them too, and keep it going. I like the camaraderie, but I also like the competition, and to go, to be able to go to state with these girls is amazing.
Right on, and that's a great mix, right? When you can shake hands and appreciate one another after competing as hard as you can, right? And being friends at the end of the day, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yep.
Brett, thank you so much for taking some time to be with us on the East Idaho Prepcast here on IdahoSports.com. Good luck as you prepare for the first few games of the season, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brett. Take care.
Have a good one.